This is Gonzalo, and today I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the North Node through all the houses. And make sure to subscribe and like this video. And if you do relate to what I'm gonna say, um, I'm gonna do another one with the South Node through all the houses also. So I hope you can enjoy this. So what is the North Node? I always combine Vedic astrology with Western astrology. So hang on with me. So the North Node is our path to our destiny in this life. So for example, if you have your South Node under second house, that means you already lived that, you already achieved that. And that means if you have it in the second house, that means your North Node is going to be on the eighth house. So you come from pleasures, for the second house is ruled by Taurus, Venus, so pleasures, financial stability, kind of laziness. So you're going to and a deeper understanding, which is the eighth house of Scorpio, right? So sexual experiences, so everything that Scorpio represents. So you kind of get what I mean. Depending on the house that is your south node, is aspecting your north node. So you come from that to go to that. And if you don't follow those steps, unfortunately, you're gonna be unhappy because so many people said that, okay, I didn't follow this and I stood doing the same thing that I did in my past life. So for example, if you have your south node on the seventh house, which is all about relationships, right? It's ruled by Libra. So if in this life you continue to do that, you're not gonna be happy in your relationships, and those relationships will always fail. It is what it is, and people who have their south node on the seventh house, I'm going to talk about it in the next video, always experience that. They are never married. They usually broke up with all their partners. It never works because you already did that in the past life. So now you're going to a deeper understanding depending on your north node. In what house is it, right? So let's go and through a little bit through all the houses very quickly, and so I can explain it. So if you have your north node in your first house, you may seem to be, since your first house is the house of your physical appearance, how people see you, right? Usually when people have their north node in the first house, they usually are kind of odd, because the north node, like I told you, I always combine with Vedic astrology. North Node, aka Rahu. Rahu is considered to be a demon which was decapitated, and well, it's a demon with no head. And Rahu, or the North Node, is considered to be a malefic planet. That doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna die or something. Just hang out with me. So if you have the North Node on the first house, people may see you as an odd person, as a very weird person, which is not bad. You're just doing whatever you're doing, right? But if it's negatively aspected, you may seem that if you have this placement, it's like having the moon on the first house. You are affected by everything. Everything affects you, and you think that everything is a problem. So you may catch always allergies. You may not be like to be around people. You always seem distracted. You feel really odd, like you don't belong on this world. And one thing that I see with these people and with their north node, sorry, on their first house, is that they always are afraid of diseases. So, for example, they think that they have something, they're gonna research that disease and they're gonna be crazy on their head. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And usually you have to be careful because if it's negatively expected, you can be, these people can be hypochondriac and have some nervous energy, so you need to be aware of that. And yeah, I people usually tend to say like, okay, why are you making people afraid? But it is the truth. It is in this life, it is what you get, right? It's not always good, but it is a really good placement because it makes you weird. It makes you really clever. So it is really good, but you need to be careful with that. Also, with the North Node on the first, these people usually tend to get misdiagnosed. like with Rahu on the 6th, with Neptune, um, you should really, like, if you have something weird and the doctor says, okay, I don't know what it is, you should always get a second opinion. So now Rahu or North Node in the second house. So these people are very clever with their money. If it's possibly positively expected, these people will like get a lot of gains in this life because they have come from a deeper understanding, the 8th house, and now they are on the second house. So this is their past lives, and it is a really pleasurable placement because these people will enjoy a lot of things in life because this house is ruled by Venus, Taurus, right? So they may get a lot of gains. But if the North Node is negatively aspected, these people may have a lot of eating disorders. They also can have some digestive issues, like they need to be careful with what they eat. Otherwise, they can get a lot of weird diseases through the stomach. So you need to be aware of that. So they might have some addictive tendencies, not necessarily need to be drugs, right? But with food, they have a lot of eating disorders if this placement is negatively expected. Now the North Node in the 3rd house. So this is a very good placement because it makes the person very clever, very intelligent. This person always wants to learn, always, they always stay in school no matter their age. And usually this represents a person that is really smart and that comes from a life from pleasures, but going to a life of to learn, to understand, right? To communicate. These people have amazing talkative skills, right? They are very talkative. You know, it's ruled by Gemini, Mercury, so it is a very good placement to have. But if it's negatively expected, these people may not like talk a lot. They can be really quiet. They can also be really confused. And since this house represents your siblings, it represents your siblings, you know, cousins, whatever. Those siblings or cousins can be really weird, very odd. They may not have a good relationship with them, but they have something weird about them. And these people can be really confused about everything. Now the North Node in the 4th house. So the 4th house is all about foreign lands, you know, gains. And it represents the mother. So Rahu in this house, if it's positive, they will travel a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean that it means a lot of travel, just a travel to a foreign land, and they will get a lot of gains with it. But unfortunately, basically, it means that you're not in the 4th house, so you will have a good relationship with your mother, and it means that you can live at your older age, depending on the sign that the North Node is, in a foreign land, or you may like to learn foreign languages. If it's negatively expected, you may have, I know this may sound crazy, but you may have a crazy mother. It is one way or another. This because the 4th house represents Cancer, the mother, the home, right? So you may have some issues with gains with foreign lands, and also with your mother. You always discuss with her. You always have problems with her, and in some cases, the mother can mean they are crazy or very obsessive. With the North Node in the 5th house. This is a very good placement because the 5th house represents our intelligence and romance, you know, children, creativity. So Rahu or the North Node, you know, I combine always both Vedic and Western astrology. It does really good here. It can represent a person like in the 3rd house, a very smart and intelligent person, depending on the sign that Rahu or the North Node is. So you guys are very smart and very funny. Sometimes Rahu here can be Rahu. Well, I always call Rahu the North Node, right? Just in case you don't understand. Can make people very witty and very. I mean, if it's positively expected, they can be really good with children and with romance, with partners. But if it's negative, they may have a lot of problems with children. If they have children, those children can lead them to some grief or some disappointment, unfortunately. and they can have a really bad relationship with their partners or with romance in general. So Rahu in the sixth house. Rahu in the sixth house is Rahu. Well, older North Node. If you didn't saw the beginning of the video, I explained both. So yeah, it's the same basically. I always combine Western with Vedic astrology. So Rahu here does really good, or the North Node, because it's in its own sign with Mercury, right? So these people, if the North Node is positive, they will have, or they are blessed with good health. They have a very strong digestive system. They eat something and it's out there. You know what I'm trying to say? So they have a very good immune system, very strong one. And since this represents your day-to-day life, day-to-day routine, Virgo, um, it can be a little bit difficult with coworkers because you may want to shine and they don't like that, so it can create some difficulty. Also, if the North Node is negatively expected, these people may have some digestive problems. They have a very strong immune system, but it can create some illnesses or some digestive problems around their stomach, because the sixth house represents diseases, your routine, your day-to-day life. So yeah, if Rahu is on the seventh house or the North Node, if you don't know, I always combine both Western and Vedic astrology. These people, this is North Node is your path. This is what it leads you to your destiny. So on this life, you're meant to be with a lot of people. You're meant to be in a lot of relationships. So don't be shocked if you find yourself going through a lot of relationships, because this is your destiny. And if you are doing that, you should be glad because you're following your destiny. And when you do that, it leads to your happiness. I know break up with people may be hard, but it is what it is, right? So with the North Node on the seventh house, you're meant to be in a lot of relationships and learn from them, because in the past life you didn't, so now it is your turn. But if the North Node is negatively expected, in those relationships you might get hurt a lot, unfortunately. And in marriages, in Vedic, it is said that it could lead to divorce. So Rahu, or the North Node, I always combine Vedic with Western astrology, on the 8th house. The 8th house is not a really good placement. I have this placement. So people, I'm going to give you an advice. If you have this placement, you need to be careful with accidents that could happen, especially with cars. If you don't drive, with cuts, with knives. I'm not saying, I'm just telling you to be careful. Take it or leave it. So you come from a pleasurable life to go to a deeper understanding. So if you have this placement, if it's positive, and the 8th house represents your longevity, you may have a really strength within yourself, because Rahu, it's like a Rahu or the North Node. I told you I combine both. It has a great resilience. So you might be really strong, and since it's Rahu or the North Node here, you may get obsessed with illnesses or diseases. So you, for example, if you think you have something, you will research it. Same with the North Node on the first house. The first house and the 8th house. These people, talking about myself too, get crazy. If they think they have something, you will see that they go look on the computer about everything and their head spins. It goes crazy. And at the end, they don't have anything. Or they might have something, but at the end they will see, okay, I got myself in this and I was like crazy. So you know what I'm trying to say. People with displacement will understand me. So if you have displacement, it is the house of Scorpio, and you need to understand that on this life you are meant to be not in relationships, but if you have sexual relationships with some people, you may want to get a deep understanding in that, in the sexual aspects, but not only in a sexual aspect, right? Also in some information that you are interested in. So it can mean a lot of things. but yeah, it's not a really good placement, but I guess it has some really good aspects. For example, the sex part. So the North Node in the ninth house. So here it makes this person really clever, really witty. It's ruled by Jupiter. This house, Sagittarius. So these people, maybe they always want to learn. Actually, they always want to learn. And a friend of mine has this placement, and he is always constantly wanting to learn everything, everything. Sometimes it makes them kind of cocky. Basically, it is a really good placement to have, but remember everything, every placement has his downfalls. So in this one, basically it makes the person kind of unscrupulous, kind of like they have a very bad mouth. I know we all say some shit sometimes, but with this placement, you may say some things that can really hurt people. So be aware of that. But in the end, it is a really good placement to have your North Node. So your North Node in the 10th house. So here it is an excellent placement because it makes the person very hardworking, very focused on their goals, and actually it makes them achieve them. So it is an excellent placement, and if you have it on this life, you should really take advantage of that. And I know you will because you're always focused on your goals. That if the North Node is positive, but if it's negatively expected, these people may find themselves going from one thing to another. So let's say you have a great idea, and at the next day you will forget it, or you will not go for it. So it makes them really indecisive. But overall, it is a really good placement to have. So good luck with that. The North Node in the 11th house. So this placement, for me, it's one of the best. It's not the one that I have, but I know some people that I have it. And this placement, like the 3rd and the 9th house, it makes people really clever, extremely intelligent, and very good with society in general. Very humanitarian people. It's the 11th house of friendships. So these people may have a lot of friends, and it makes them very successful. But if it's negatively expected, this is the only placement that is negatively expected, but it's good. It's good in a way, because it makes them too clever. If it's positive, it makes them clever and very good-natured. But if not, it makes them extremely clever, but in a bad way. So they can take advantage of people, of friends, of organizations, so of everything that the 11th house represents. So I don't know what you guys think if you have this placement. North Node on the 12th house. This is a very fascinating house, and with the North Node there, wow, you might be a psychic. It's the house of Neptune and Pisces. You really might be a healer. You can be a healer. So if you're studying, it doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be something to do with Reiki, or something to do with healing. It can be on the medical. You can be, people who do massages. So you will be at service. That's your goal on this life. These people always seem to be very odd, outside of this world, and I can totally understand you because I have only a friend with this placement, and he's very psychic. He thinks that he knows everything that's gonna happen, and he usually does. But yeah, it is a very psychic and amazing placement. Amazing in the way of the psychic abilities that you can have. But if it's negatively expected, you may be disconnected from reality. So you may find yourself dreaming about something or an idea that you have, but you never put it in action. So you stay in the reality, in that dream, but you never go down to reality. Also, if it's negative, you might escape, like the sign of Pisces usually does. Not all of them, but some of them, right? So yeah, these people if it's negatively expected, they may use some form of escaping from the reality, because they are very sensitive, and they just are at service. But if they always seem to be like, when they found out what reality is, they just want to escape. If you have displacement, be aware of that. You're a really nice person, so just follow your path. So I hope you guys like this video, and if you do, please subscribe, and well, and let me know if you want the sound note videos in all the houses for the next one, so you will understand your placements also. So yeah, if you want to book a reading with me, I do solar return readings, which are really cool, because it starts with your time of birth, and to the next year. So you will see all the energies that you will have for the next year until your next birthday. And I also do tarot readings and all kind of readings that you will see on the website of Amira, salons.com. I always forget the other part. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and thank you.